Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy though, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome again. Thank you for being here. We have a special guest with us, Alberta and Stella. And we have my daughter, Baby Poop Noodle, with us.
Love the nickname.
So I'm taking your Stella. Or
I'm Alberta.
You're Alberta.
That is Gosha.
And that's Gosha. And a husband is Stella.
Come here.
Hey, Gosha.
This is Stella.
Oh, there's Stella. Beautiful Stella. Y'all look. Oh, I love me some fur babies. Oh. Okay, so welcome in, everybody. Let me get to my chat so I can say hello to everybody. Of course, good morning to Alberta. Good morning to Emwit. Good morning to Angie. Good morning to Mama Goose. Good morning with Life with Mommy. Good morning to Barbara. Good morning, Dawn Delight. Gobby, good morning. Fancy, good morning. Tammy, good morning. Good morning.
Hey,
Jeffrey,
Angie.
good morning. Fancy was my name. Hello, Tammy. Breaking the silence. Good morning, everybody. So today is our coffee talk is going to be about the difference in the United States foster parenting and Canada foster parenting. And then we're going to have Mrs. Baby Poop Noodle tell her story of being a foster child and becoming adopted and all that. Good morning.
I wasn't a foster parent. I was a foster child.
Oh, okay. You are a foster child. So we have two of y'all and me. So all three of us. The real me, good morning, welcome in, Tough as Nails, welcome in. So what we always do is we give everybody a little bit. I normally do 10 after to just pile in, and then we'll do our prayer session. Is that okay with you, Stella?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll do our prayers for our YouTube family. And then we will get started. I do have a few, like I said, a few videos that I want to show. They're not very long. And then we can talk through. And these videos are going to relate to all three of us. Emwit, it's okay.
Try not to sneeze.
Oh, it's okay. If you have to sneeze, you can just hit mute. You're good. Emwit is in the chat, and Emwit is a foster parent as well. And so he or she will be talking in the chat about what they want to say until she or he gets comfortable to come on panel. And when he or she is ready to come on panel with us, then, you know, we'll see. What's that? Let's pray for Quentin today that the judge doesn't throw out any of the murder charges. Absolutely.
Oh, good Lord.
I didn't even know that it come up that fast.
Wow.
My mods, if you see anybody in chat, always just do the stop sign so that I can put them down on the list.
Pray for me.
Yes, we're gonna pray for baby poop Noodle because her sugar has been running low now ever since it was high. So
Have you looked into getting a service dog?
we have looked into service dogs and we just haven't found the right one yet.
Okay, because you can, being in the States, you can train yourself.
Yeah. Good morning, Paddles. Good morning. Good morning, Tough as Nails. If I didn't say good morning to you, welcome in. If y'all would please hit that like button for me. Okay, Mwit, I gotcha. She. Mwit is a she. Breaking the silence. Good morning. Good morning. We got 33 people in here.
Sorry I look so rough this morning.
No, you're absolutely fine. Hey there, the masked angel. Welcome in. So, how are you today, Stella?
I'm okay. I just got up like not even half an hour ago. Enough time to feed the dogs, take them out, and get online.
Good morning, Paddles. She said, you got me up too early. You need to leave me alone, woman. Hey, Georgia Mom, I want to tell you, me and the hubby used your body scrub last night. I absolutely love it and would love to get other scents as well and get more. So I'll email you about that. That's Alberta. Yes. So I hope everybody is having a fabulous Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Who else gonna have tacos on this Tuesday? We might. No. Tammy, please get rest and take care of yourself, Tammy. Tough and Snows, thank you. I know I'm in a lot of pain today. Gonna try to make it through as long as I can. I love y'all. Look, Tammy, we love you and we have you on our prayer list. We're gonna keep praying. Uh-oh. What happened?
I didn't mean to.
Oh, the daughter hit the button and put you in the back there for a minute. Hey, Philly from Philly. Hello, my love.
Don't forget to go into live chat too, so you don't miss anyone, guys.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Cecilian. Hey, crazy chicken lady.
Hi, Sicilian and Ragin.
Hey, Ragin. Did I miss Ragin?
I think you said it right.
Alberta, listen, I am a little nervous myself up here because this is new to me. My daughter's a little nervous. So we're all just a little nervous, but we'll get comfortable in it. Are you nervous?
Always.
Hey, you're doing great, though. You are.
I'm good, George, Mom.
Hey, BB. Welcome in, everybody. It's just such a sensitive subject.
No, I don't want you licking me.
It's such a sensitive subject, so I'm trying to stay focused. That's my thing. Yes, you did, Mirandy, but I still love you. Okay, Rachel, just making sure. Just want to make sure. I'm glad all of you guys are here with us this morning, and I appreciate y'all being here, and I appreciate you sharing the love. And I never say this, but this is really a really important subject. So if you have a channel, will you please share it out? I don't never ask that, but with this, I would love for you to share it out. Life with Mommy. Did I say hello to you? I seen you. Did you want to come up and give your praise report real quick before we do prayer?
Thank you, Paddles.
Thank you, Crazy Chicken Lady. That's so kind of you. Forget the camera and think about a normal conversation, right?
Hey, tough as nails.
Hey, Binky. Binky. Oh, okay, Life with Mommy. That's okay. Look, it's a praise report forever. You know what I mean? So we still have time. We still have time. I'm at work as always.
I'm just going to turn off my screen for a minute.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
I'm still here, though.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. She doesn't know how to put an avatar up yet, and I don't remember how I did it. So that's why her screen is black. Mama Randy, I love you.
She won't stop whining.
Oh, thank you, Amy, so very much. Y'all come on in.
I can't handle the under the breath whining.
Oh.
Well, she's got cancer.
Oh.
And she's almost 13, but she has Cushing's and cancer, and she wants you to be touching her at all times. And if you're not, she's constantly whining. So it's near the end, I think, for her, which is hard to realize.
Oh, but I'm sorry to hear that. Good morning, J Bobs.
Well, she's been a great dog. I mean, she helped put Stella in her place this morning, so
that's always a good thing. Thank you, Billy.
And Stella got up in her face a little too much this morning trying to get her to play, and Koshi wasn't having it.
She said, "Rawr, rawr, rawr, stand back."
Oh, yeah. I thought she was going to take a chunk out of her. She put her in her place so harsh.
Oh, Lord.
Like, serves you right, girl. You deserve that one.
If you want to mute out, and I'll go ahead and start with prayer. Okay, so here we go. We have Shih Tzu Knot. We're praying for her fair baby trip. Jilly, we're praying for her tooth, her mouth, that she gets some pain relief soon. Crafty Lady, Unspoken, DC's baby boy, Seen It Before's grandbaby, Queen's mother-in-law, Barbara, sister-in-law Jean, Chihuahua Mom, Unspoken, of course, Poop Noodle, baby Poop Noodle for her diabetes, Shine for her son, Angie's mother, Proud Army, baby Joe, the brain bleed that the Lord just heal that brain bleed for the baby. All of the children that are missing, hungry, and the foster children, the homeless people, Survivor. We're praying for a transplant to come soon for her. We're praying for Gabi and Gabi's dad. We're praying for Sebastian, Caleb, and Summer that they will be found soon and will have justice soon. And praying for their families and the searchers that are searching for them. We're praying for Dylan's family. We're praying for Anya's baby. We're praying for Jeffrey's friends Rachel's health. We're praying for Tough as Nails, unspoken prayer request, and her nephew that's in the military. We're praying for Jake, Michelle's dog, which we got a praise report yesterday. Everybody knows that Jake is safe and at home with Michelle. If anybody missed that. We're praying for Brandy's kittens. We're praying for Tex-Mex's friend Deborah. We're praying for Gotcha 64 as unspoken. We're praying for Kelly K, passing of her father, that she has peace and comfort. We're praying for, I said Chihuahua Mom. We're praying for Quentin's court case that justice be served today. We're praying for Jay's kids healing and loss of her father. We're praying for Tammy and her brother. We're praying for Russell, Mizzy's friend, and their family. We're praying for Beezer. She's been sick. We're praying for Adam Harris, unspoken. Try me, unspoken. Mingo, safety for her daughter. We're praying for Israel always. We're praying for the military families and the military men and women that are serving our country. We're praying for Ragin. We're praying for, Ragin's friend Jeffrey. The two friends there started chemo this week. We're praying for Linda M. unspoken. Mesh takes surgery and brother surgery this week. We're praying for Dawn Delight's son that is in the military. We're praying for Devious, unspoken, D's Nuts. We're praying for her kitten to come home. If D's Nuts is in the chat, please update us if you have any updates on that. We're praying for Life with Mommy, unspoken prayer request. We're praying for Pellets, unspoken prayer request. Tragic, unspoken prayer request. Mama's the Boss, 2 kids has been sick. We're praying for them to be healed in the name of Jesus. And we're praying for Flava's grandmother. Do I need to add anybody? Let me go up and make sure I didn't miss nobody. Good morning, Queen. Good morning, Beezer. J Bobs. I think I've gotten everybody so far. Good morning to all the people. Good morning, Barbara. Good morning to all the Bush babies that are working and just listening. All right. So anybody else do need prayer that's in the chat or anything? Good, J Bobs. Good. Cecilia, her sugar's low today, so we're trying to keep it a little Yes, pray for my fur baby. He's still struggling with the heart murmur, and they put him on heart medicine, as I said, because his heart was kind of low to get it back on the pace that it needs to be. All right, so if everybody put prayer hands in the chat, I will begin to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you. We put each and every one of our friends that are on this book in the palm of your hands, dear Lord. Lord, we just thank you for the air that we breathe, dear Lord, that you have given us to be able to wake up this morning. Lord, we know that all things can be done through you. You're in the miracle business, and we know that, and we have seen it many times. Lord, I pray for each and every one that is on our prayer book, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Lord, I pray for everyone in the chat as well, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Lord, I pray for anyone that is out there that feels like they're in a dark spot, that they feel comfortable to come here and we can just bring them up and uplift them and let them know that they are loved. Lord, we want to see that light at the end of the tunnel. No one wants to walk alone, and we know that you're there walking with us. Lord, we just pray that everybody stays in good health. Lord, extra prayer for Tammy to be pain relieved, and Jilly also, that her pain will be relieved too. And Lord, we just thank you and praise you and glorify you for everything you have given to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen and amen and amen. Okay, Stella. You want to start with you when you become a foster child and how old and all that good stuff?
I believe I went into care in 70 or early 71. And I was 2.5, 3 years old. Both my parents were heavily addicted to substances and other issues. They like to cheat on each other and fight, and not physically fight, but they would scream and yell.
Mm-hmm.
But what got us taken away was my mom had a party while my dad was at work and decided to try slitting her wrist to make him come home before the end of his work day. And she did it in a way that was for attention only. And you could, even the paramedics said that it wouldn't have caused anything but some bleeding because she did it so low. But because of that, she was found unfit. And all three of us were put into care. The first home we were in was the one that to this day I still call them mom and dad. And they were even at my wedding to my husband now. Like, that's how close I was to them. And they tried to adopt us, but because they had 5 kids of their own, social services wouldn't allow it. Because they wanted to keep them as foster parents.
I got you.
And they turned around and forced us out of that home into a possible adoption home. The first one is the one that got me into believing in God. And thank God they did, because that's what helped me through it, because I went through 29 homes. But the first
Amen.
adoption
Wow.
failed. We were taken away because he had picked me up at the age of 6 in the middle of the night. He came into the room, picked me up over his shoulders, threw me across the room and broke my collarbone, and then sent me to school with no medical care.
Wow.
And the school called social services, and I was removed because of that. And so were my siblings. They did not know everything else he had done to us, because they had locked my brother up in a room for 2 weeks and wouldn't even let him out to go to the bathroom. So he had to use the closet as a restroom to relieve himself. Like, they beyond wicked people. And then when we were taken away because of my broken collarbone, because it was in the middle of winter, I had the broken collarbone and we had been sent to school. I was in flip-flops and shorts with literally a piece of bread with mustard on it. That was my lunch. So we were removed right from the school. We weren't even allowed to go get our stuff. Then we were put in an orphanage, which is where we stayed until we came to the island for another failed adoption. Well, my sister and I got adopted. My brother did not, or our brother did not. Mm-hmm. They had a big black lab that would take a dookie in the basement, and they would blame it on my brother, saying he had done it. So they sent him back to foster care. But they adopted my sister and I. when I was 10. And I came home one day. I went to school as Alberta. And I came home. Your name is now Joanne. And they'd beat the living hell out of me and my siblings if they didn't call me Joanne. And if they had bothered to actually investigate these people, they would have discovered that she had her first 3 biological children removed due to her abuse.
Oh, wow.
He was a commercial fisherman. He was her second marriage. And she wanted kids for when he was out of town fishing. She wanted company. And my brother was sent away after he got pickled at the age of 8. Like, she wanted a drinking buddy, so she fed him booze to the point where he almost had alcohol poisoning because she wanted somebody to drink with. So she made him drink. She'd get us up at 2 a.m. in the morning and force us to still go to school because she wanted somebody to eat with.
Alberta, I'm so sorry.
So it was one nightmare after another after that. But I was finally removed from that home. My brother was sent back to foster care. My sister ran away after the adoption. I was removed a few days after my 12th birthday because family friends came over and she was beating the living hell out of me. And I mean, beating the hell out of me. I was black and blue from head to toe. And they literally grabbed me and left. Took me to their house, and the cops came to them ready to charge them with kidnapping. And I told the cops, you take me back, I'm going to run. I said, I can't do it anymore. It was 2.5 years of constant abuse, of being beaten and starved every day. And I couldn't do it anymore.
I understand.
And from then after, like, those were the first 4 homes I was in. And then after that, it was every 3 to 6 months afterwards, I was moving into a different foster care or temporary home until I was 17. But, I mean, there's not much you can do about it.
Yeah, so when did you get out of foster care? Was you adopted by a family before you come out of foster care?
Yeah, when they changed my name to Joanne.
Okay.
When my name got changed to Joanne, that was the only successful adoption. But because I was removed at age 12, the rest of the foster homes were from 12 to 17. And when I got my files from the Freedom of Information Act up here in Canada, the lies that were in that file were mind blown. Like, just will blow your ever-loving mind. I mean, I had a social worker. I had actually thought so much of this worker that I gave my son his name as one of his middle names. Then I got his file, like my files, and discovered that he was saying I was sleeping around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry trying to have a kid at 15. Yet, yes, I had been molested from very young, from 3 up. I had been molested or raped by siblings, foster families, this, that, and the other. But voluntarily, I'd never slept with anyone by my choice until after I was 18. And I was out of the system altogether by then.
Wow.
But he put in my file that I was sleeping with everybody trying to get pregnant, because he had asked what I wanted when I grew up. And I said, I wanted a family of my own. I wanted kids of my own. I wanted a husband. I wanted a home. That's all I wanted.
Alberta, there's a question. There was a question from Tammy. It says, so was you, Alberta, a foster child in the States or in Canada?
In Canada. The funny thing is, okay, I almost ended up coming down to the States, because if I had been in that first adoptive home, the one that broke my collarbone,
Mm-hmm.
they were actually moving down to California. That's why they didn't get charged and all that, because they were moving out of the country and they were supposed to be taking us. When I finally met my biological dad when I was 19, I discovered that he lived and had been living 3 blocks away from the orphanage we had been in
Wow.
at the same time we were there. And he had been fighting to try and get us back, and social services lied to him and told him that we were down in California in a very happy home.
I'm so sorry, Alberta.
So, I mean, it's messed up no matter if you're in Canada or the US. I think all these foster systems need to be revamped completely.
Yes. I have to say, you do get the horrible, well, mostly on the internet, on YouTube, foster parents get a bad name. That's why I'm here to talk about it, because not all foster homes are bad.
I had 2 wonderful ones.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to watch this video right here. And this video right here is going to give us the harsh reality of being a foster parent. So I'm going to stop it in between so that we can talk and compare from the US to Canada.
Okay, I'm just going to turn off the screen for a minute.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to share screen. I do have my trigger warning banner up.
What?
And here we go.
Today I hit one of my lowest points as a foster parent. And I have to be honest, if we didn't currently have kids in the home, I honestly would consider just throwing in the towel. So I knew I wanted to get a video to you guys today. It was actually going to be a totally different video. Originally, I wanted to share with you guys just some basic information regarding foster care and really get into the reasons why kids are removed from their home. That is something that I do still plan to cover, but just with the nature of events that happened today, I kind of want to switch gears and talk about something a little heavier. Today, I hit one of my lowest points as a foster parent. And I have to be honest, if we didn't currently have kids in the home, kids who are currently placed with us, I honestly would consider just throwing in the towel, or at the very least, take a very long break. And it's kind of funny because we have only been foster parents for 2.5 years. If you add in the time it took to do our training and our home study.
Okay, as a foster parent, you do hit rock bottom. You go into high and low emotions. Sometimes you think, can I do this? Is this too much? And you get just overwhelmed with life sometimes. And then you go back and you regroup yourself and you say, well, I can do this because I can do this for the kids. And as we go along, you'll learn more. And then my daughter also, good morning, Samantha, is also going to tell her story.
And the whole application process. We've been doing this for 3 years. And I knew as a foster parent that the most challenging aspect of this role was going to be the red tape. It was going to be the system. It was going to be how things operate, how things work, all of the different people that you have to interact with, the scrutiny that you are placed under as a foster parent. I knew that those were the things that would break me, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly.
You are held to a very high level as a foster parent, to a point that it's almost stressful because they hold you high. But we do have to remember these are lives that are placed in our hands to take care of. And not only are they human lives, but on top of that, they belong to someone else. We have to remember that when you go in as a foster parent, your goal as going into foster parenting is that reunite them back with their parents. That is our biggest goal. BB said, I love the women in the video you have up. She is so real and honest. I've been watching her since she first got the young teenager, Miss A, and she was finally reunited with her family. That's awesome. Yes, I love her.
Many of you know, if you've watched our previous videos, that John and I were notified that there was an allegation that we violated a policy. And I do agree, like we did, we violated confidentiality. We thought at the time that we were, following all of the rules.
Okay, now what she's talking about doesn't mean that they did something bad. You can cross the red line if you take a picture of your foster child and you put them online, because that is a no-no in this system.
So it's changed a lot.
Yes. Inwit says so. I can speak to that. Inwit, I'm gonna be looking for your oops. I'm gonna be looking for your comments as well. You can get burnout. You can Inwit, and it because you're held to a big standard, it can burn you out fast if you're not very careful. CPS gave my husband and I 2 teenagers. One we had for 4 years, the other one 2 years. We were not foster parents. Oh, wow, Beezer.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a lot different than when I was in care, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, there we don't have enough foster parents. We just don't have enough because of the red tape. Like she said, you can cross that line. I did. I crossed the line because I was letting Poop Noodle talk to her biological mother on the phone and see her biological mother. We would go have lunch together when it wasn't visitation. And I got in trouble for that. You as a foster parent would think that's what they would want you to do. No, you are strictly by their rules, and you strictly do what they say do. J Bob says, your foster parents are a godsend. I thank you all who have the ability to do it. Well, thank you so much, J Bobs.
Yeah, I do too. Even as a former foster child, I mean, the system has changed a lot. Just from what I'm hearing from you, it's changed a lot since I was in care.
We have,
thankfully.
Yeah, Angie said, my mom fostered a teenager was 4, long story. Oh, Angie. Leave it to Beezer said, my children brought them from home from school. They stayed until they were 18 and graduated from high school. That is amazing. Good morning, Mama's the Boss. Glad to have you here. That's horrible. You got in trouble for trying to get a family back together. I did. I crossed that red line doing that, and I did get in trouble. And we have here in the state of Alabama, we have in the state of Alabama and Georgia, because I fostered for both states. We have point systems, and I can say that I had you get a 5-point system, and I hit the point system twice because I was extending more visitation than what was allowed at the time. But I could understand she wasn't testing clean on her drug test. But I thought, well, as long as I'm there and she's being able, this will give her that to want to see her more. And I want everybody to know that me and Poop Noodle, we're very open about this. We have had long talks about this. So I'm saying nothing that she hasn't already heard or we have not already talked about. You agree? I got a little behind. You can drop the link. I can come up. The internet in my office sucks slow. Oh, yes, absolutely. This is only for MWIT.
She's blessed to have you, because I know when I was in care, social services had total custody of us. Our parents weren't even allowed to see us.
Wow.
They had lost any access to us. So it may have been different in that way.
Could have been Alberta. Could have been. While we were waiting on oh, there. Oh, no. While we're waiting on MWIT to come up, I'm going to go ahead and continue.
But we messed up, and it happens, and we've since corrected. Well, we believe that we've corrected the issue, but with that violation, we're tangled up in this process with our agency and with the county, and we have very little information, and there's just so much unknown on how this is going to impact us as foster parents, how it will impact us moving forward. We don't know at this point where we stand with our agency, with the county. And today was just a day where I felt so undervalued as a foster parent. And it's really hard when you feel like you're doing everything possible.
MWIT? Can you hear me, MWIT? Alberta, can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Okay. MWIT, are you there, my friend? You're on mute. If you're talking, you're on mute, so I can't hear you.
MWIT, unmute StreamYard, mute YouTube. That's how I work it, so you don't get feedback.
Uh-oh. She dropped. She'll be back. Yeah, we're not valued like you think we would be valued. And I'll reiterate this again. If you think it's for the money, you're not making the money. It costs you more to have a foster child than what the state pays you. I promise you. I did it for almost 18 years.
Yeah, you don't get paid nearly enough.
No.
Especially when you have problematic children. I mean, I was in one group home with my younger brother after I was back in care. Mm-hmm. And the group home themselves had a deaf child, like one of their children was a deaf child. And one of their other foster kids had R'd me. And I'm screaming for help. And everyone's home and nobody came to help.
Sorry to interrupt you, but MWIT, it says device not connected. It's saying your device is not connected.
She may need a better signal area.
Try connecting your device. Hey, Chihuahua Mama. Hi, Mama's the boss. Good morning.
Hi,
Good
Chihuahua Mama.
But yeah, you do feel undervalued for sure. We'll continue. Emily, you just keep trying. Oh, let's see. I can hear
By
you.
the kids
Just have to
and by the system.
YouTube. Okay, so Emwit's trying to just cancel the YouTube. So once she gets that figured out, she'll be back up with us. Because I'm excited to hear her story.
Me too. I'd like to actually hear it from the foster parents' point of view.
Yeah.
Because being the foster child, you don't hear it from the parents' point of view as much. I mean, I'm still in touch with two of my foster parents. And I could call them and ask, but I never really went into it with them. I just talked to them like they're my parents.
Emwit, it says device. Uh-oh. It's okay. You keep doing it. I can sit right here. We're waiting on you. It will kick your butt, but you'll get it. I promise you. Yeah. I loved every minute of being a foster parent, and I would still do it if it wasn't for my health. There was times that I wanted to throw in the towel, but then my good times always outweighed it all the time. So
Yeah, my husband and I weren't able to because of my health.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
We're always focused first on doing right by the kids who are being placed with us. They're always, number one as it pertains to our role as foster parents. Supporting the family, also really high up there, doing what we can to support the family. And then, of course, just complying with all the things that we know that we have to comply with. And today was just a day where it just feels like we're failing. And I'm sharing this with you. I'm sharing this low point because I think that there's value in hearing this side of things. I've always tried to be really transparent, and I know it's hard for you all to see our videos and see our shares. And even though we're being super authentic, you guys are only seeing a little part of our lives. And the reality is, just with anything, being a foster parent is not all unicorns and rainbows. And as one person shared with me, time moves on, this will pass. This feeling is going to pass. But that doesn't change that in this moment, I was ready to give up. Obviously, we have a lot on our plate right now. We have 2 kids of our own, Darcy, who's 5, Sawyer, who is about to be 2. We have 3 kids who are currently placed with us, and that brings its own unique challenges, and it is always worth it. It's always worth it. The day-to-day, stress, the laundry that piles up, the death pile that I have in the basement that eventually I'm going to get to. Those are the things that are really manageable. You know that comes with the territory. But when you're a foster parent who truly cares, some of it can just get to you. And I do think that there's some truth to compassion fatigue. And I think that that's why there are a lot of foster families who foster for a certain period of time and then they stop, or they take an extended break before they get back into it. The same can be said for caseworkers, social workers. There's a high rate of turnover, and a lot of it is contributed to compassion fatigue, and also the fact that they're just not compensated for the amount of work and effort that they're doing. So there are times as a foster parent that you are going to hit a point where You just feel like you can't take any more on. You can't do anymore. And that's okay. It passes, and you get right back up and you take care of those kids and you do everything that you need to do. And you find the time to give yourself some self-care and take a break. You always want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. At this point, many of you know that we are unable to, share certain things, and we don't.
I know all her feelings as a foster parent. And if there's any foster parents in the chat, you know all them feelings as well. It does get crowded sometimes. MWIT, it says device not connected. She is trying hard. Lord Jesus, please let her figure it out. Please, Jesus. Hey, KK.
Don't feel comfortable talking specifically about the situation that we're dealing with as foster parents with this violation. At some point in the future, I will be sharing, what this has been like, what the process looks like. But it's just not appropriate right now to be sharing that information. And this isn't the first time that I have felt as a foster parent that it's more difficult to be in this role when you care so much. It's easier for the system if you care, and they want you to care for the kids. They want you to advocate for the kids. But then it hits a point where, oh, hey, calm down. So this is just an example of me continuing to find that balance of caring and doing as much as you can, but at the same time having to let go of certain worry and lots of control. That was a given. I knew coming into being a foster parent, really having zero control. And that's evident in the fact that there was one conversation that we had regarding this violation, and that was it. That was all we were expected to contribute. You're alleged to have violated a policy. You have one conversation.
Is there anyone in chat that can help MWIT? Angie, you're here. Hey, Sean. Hello. It's saying device not connected. So what is MWIT not doing that she needs to do to make it connect? Maybe we can give her a little advice.
Is she on her phone or a computer?
Just say, you can say it in back chat or in chat. I'm watching. Yeah. Are you on your phone or are you on a computer, MWIT?
Okay. Go into StreamYard. Have YouTube on. Go into StreamYard. Bring up the full screen. Okay. Once that comes up and you're accepted, go to the bottom, go back into YouTube and mute YouTube. Then come back into StreamYard and make sure that your camera and or mute is not off in StreamYard.
And while she does that, we'll continue listening.
That maybe lasts an hour, and then you're told that it is a violation and you have no other information. So yeah, it's not fun. It's not a fun position to be in. Obviously, we have taken responsibility. It just is, it's shocking sometimes at the way things work and the things that you're expected to do and not do as a foster parent. We will continue to focus on the kids. We will continue to focus on the things that we do have control over. Hopefully there won't be too many more sleepless nights. We will continue to be posting videos. You guys all have been so kind to have adapted with us. I know you guys love all of the content, all of the educational information, and we will be sure to keep those coming. And we just continue to find that balance of sharing the information about being foster parents, sharing our experiences. And so now it just comes down to putting my big girl panties on and just focusing on the long list of things that I have to be doing. This was kind of a detour for me. I had a really busy day planned and, really just took a different direction. But yeah, my to-do list looks like it's Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix, like this thick, so many things that I need to be doing. So you just have to move on. I will still plan on making that video about why kids may enter care. That's a really important topic to understand coming into this role as a foster parent, or if you're involved with foster care in whatever capacity. So that's definitely coming up. We also are going to be celebrating Earth Day in a couple of days. We have an exciting sponsorship in that video as well. And something really exciting I wanted to share with you all is that the videos that we are going to have sponsored, in those videos, we are also going to be picking a wish from a child who's currently in foster care on the One Simple Wish website. So make sure that you watch those videos to the end. That way you can see which wish we grant for a child in care. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being so supportive, and we will see you next time.
So that was that. So
I'm impressed that things seem to have changed quite a bit
I have
since
heard
I
from
was
thousands
in
of foster
care.
parents through
right. It has changed. It's matter of fact, it's changed from what it is now to it was different when I first became into being a foster mom. And this video right here, this video will tell you your do's and don'ts and how to become a foster parent, if anybody is interested. But we are going to go to Baby Poop Noodle now and have a little discussion with her. Are you ready?
No.
You're not ready? Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's totally up to you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's put Baby Poop Noodle up here.
We're already up there.
Put you up there big. So I wrote down, now y'all, I want y'all to know in chat, this is new to me. So I'm going to be learning things as well because I've never really asked her what her inner feelings were about it. So we're going to be learning this together. Hello, right? So I have some questions. And if anybody in the chat has questions for Alberta or Baby Poop Noodle, just let me know. Hello, Angelica. So my first question is, do you know why you was removed from your bio mother?
Yes.
Why was you removed?
Because she was on drugs and she couldn't take care of me.
Do you know how old you was?
4 months.
Do you know what year you were adopted?
2007 or 8. Because if
Yeah.
I was 4 months,
You were born in what year?
2007.
Okay, so we was 2 years, so 2009.
9.
She was adopted in 2009, and it was the happiest day of mine and her father's life.
And
Besides
my siblings.
having, huh?
And my sister and brother.
Oh yeah, having her be officially a part of our home. And how do you feel about your siblings from me
I
and
love
Dad?
them.
You
I
love
love
them? Have they been good to you? Do they treat you different? Do I treat you different?
No.
Does Dad treat you different?
No.
Okay. So the next question is, do you remember visitations with your bio mom? You don't? So we would go visit at the DHR, and we were in this little, it looked like a cell room, and there was toys and stuff, and you would get to play with toys, and she would get to play with you and all that. So that was
that part still hasn't changed.
No, that didn't change. Do you know why your bio dad went to jail?
I do. He shouldn't want my older sister and gave her shaken baby syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember going to court to face him?
Yeah, but he didn't show up. And none of the other family members did either.
Right. And was we nervous? But why did you want to go to the court hearing?
To see what he looked like.
And to be support system for who?
My bio mom and my sister.
Her bio mom and her half sister. Her bio father hasn't been in prison since she was actually what happened. Let me explain how it happened. She had her sister that was right before her was ended up with shaken baby syndrome. So during the midst of him going back and forth to court to be charged for it, her bio mom got pregnant with her. So she never actually laid eyes on him ever. She's never, because he was in prison and didn't have to show up for court, and we didn't know that because she was wanting to know what he looked like, and she wanted to be there for her sister that had shaken baby syndrome. And it was a beautiful outcome because he got life in prison.
I've seen when he looked like that.
Oh yeah, you've seen
I've
that
seen
picture.
And he looked
Shaken baby is pretty nasty.
Yes, it is. And did he ever write you letters?
no, he doesn't know my name.
He wrote me 2 letters, and they weren't nice letters at all. So,
Why? You were loving and caring for his daughter.
well, because we were in the fight of adopting her, and he wouldn't just give up his rights. And thank God a miracle come through that he was convicted and ended up with life 2 days before we went to court. So they gave him the opportunity to give his rights up, or they were going to take them, because they have to give him that choice. And
That's God's hand.
he wouldn't give them up, so they just took them. And then her bio mother, we had become close, and I had become a support system for her of what she was going through. And she said as long as I was able to adopt her, that would be the only way that she would give up her rights. And that's how we ended up getting rights and being able to adopt. Do you remember anything? I said that one. What are some things growing up that was fun with us and your bio mom? What were fun things that you remember that we used to do all together?
We would play games. They would come over here and we would play Just Dance on the Wii.
What about swimming?
And swimming. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. And then your McDonald's trips.
Yeah.
Always. She's a chicken nugget lover. So if anybody in chat has any questions, you're more than welcome. She's willing to answer anything. Alberta, if you have any questions, just...
I'm actually very thankful that she didn't have the same kind of experience I did.
Yeah.
That she was blessed enough to have you guys.
Well,
because I wouldn't wish my life on anyone. I mean, my brother and sister both turned to substances to deal with their trauma. I turned to God.
Well, that's good.
So we all deal with it in different ways. I still have my issues. I still have CPTSD from all of it. I mean, you can't escape it when you go through some of the things I did.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come out completely normal, so to speak.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm forever grateful that I had God and that I have what I have now. I have a husband who loves me and supports me in every way. I've got a son who loves me, and I've got God. I've got my service dog, Stella, my birth mother. I love her for bringing me into the world, but I do not like her as a person. I lost my birth father in 2017 to mad cow, but
Wow.
he and I had gotten very close. He actually gave me away at my wedding to my husband,
Oh,
and I was beyond grateful for that I had had that kind of relationship with him. He
yeah.
was actually still living in the same house 3 blocks away from the orphanage I was in
Wow.
when I met him.
So that's a fond memory of with your father, him being able to give you away.
Yeah, well,
That's
I had him in my life for almost 36 years.
mhm.
So I am forever grateful that I had that, because he had actually found God in the time between when I was put in care and the time I met him. He had been an extreme drug addict and an extreme alcoholic before he met God. And when he found God, he stopped everything. And I'm forever grateful he did, because he turned out to be quite the man. He was a very good man at heart, but he had one hell of a bad childhood to boot. I
Thank God.
read a story after he passed that he had written about his childhood, and you think mine's bad. Whew. I begged my stepmom to just let me shred them, like shred the copies, because I didn't want her remembering
Yeah.
that story as part of my father, as to why he was the way he was in some areas. Because
Wow.
she had been in love with him for over 30 years. And I
So
can never get that story out of my head. So,
I can understand. So with her saying that, what do you wish your bio mother would do different and your fun well, you did the fun times. What do you wish your bio mother will do different or would have done different?
Stop being with so many guys and take care of the 2 children that she has in her home with her right now.
yeah,
Mhm.
I get you on that one, honey.
You miss her?
I do. It's just she's in a rough time right now.
Mhm.
So I had to cut ties for a little bit again.
My best advice to you, from being in the same position you're in a lot of ways, would be take her in small doses.
Mhm.
Don't take her lifestyle as an offense to yourself, as
Right,
meaning this is how you are going to turn out.
right.
Okay, I met my birth mother when I was 16. She adopted our older sister back because she wanted a party buddy. She wouldn't take my brother and I. Okay, but at the same time, my mom had 6 biological children. She only raised the last 2, and none of them talked to her
Wow.
because of how toxic she is. Because
Yes,
all she does is pit each other, like she pits kids against each other.
yes. Try Me Bitch said, I'm happy to have boundaries,
I'm
baby
happy
poop.
you.
You have boundaries, baby poop noodle.
Yeah.
You stay strong and on those boundaries.
Keep those boundaries, hun, because it'll protect you, it'll protect your heart, and it'll keep your sanity.
We pray for
And
her,
don't,
don't we?
yeah, don't take your mother's issues onto your shoulders. They're not your responsibility. I tried doing that, and it did more damage than help to me.
Do you have something to say? Okay. Um, Is there anything different you wish we, as in me and your dad, would have done different for you?
No,
Nothing?
I'm glad I'm here.
You're glad you're here?
Mm,
Do you feel blessed to be a part of our family?
yes. 'Cause
Do
I
we
love y'all.
treat you any different?
No, you just asked me that
Oh,
question.
did I? Sorry. She has to help me with my brain fog, Angie. If Angie's still in the chat. So,
Believe it or not, you two actually look like mother and daughter.
I know
If you
everybody.
hadn't told me she was adopted, I never would have known.
Mm-mm. Well, Baby Poop Noodle not too long ago texted her biological mother because she was in her feelings and had gotten hurt feelings from her biological mother. And Baby Poop Noodle wants to share that with you guys. So maybe if there's anyone out there that is listening and you're feeling this way, or if you have a foster child that's feeling this way, maybe this will help them. Now you got to talk loud enough where they can hear you. I got a big mouth. You're a little shy. All right, here she goes.
Do you want to read it?
You read it. Just read it loud.
So I said, so I've been holding back from telling you this, but it's been hurting me lately. Our relationship used to be so good. Then one day you just quit coming around, and it hurts because I need my birth mom in my life. I need my siblings in my life. But it's hard when you won't see the better things in life. I miss you coming to see me. Yeah, I know money is very hard right now, but I need you to understand that I miss you and I want you to start coming back in my life because I didn't have a relationship with you from the time being of me being 4 months to 12 years old, and then you was there from 12 years old to 14 years old, and then you just walk out of my life again. And one thing I don't like is how you're asking your daughter for money. I mean, yeah, I know it's hard, but you can't just be living off of me because it hurts to think you only see me as if I'm a billionaire that has money. I don't. I'm learning a lot more responsibilities. I'm trying to save up for a house for when I graduate next year so I can go to college and succeed and do the majors I want to do. But yeah, it's hurting me because you took my two only siblings that I can see away from me. And I feel like you don't want to have nothing to do with me. And I've been building this up for, I can't.
Okay. It's all right.
Take a breath, hon.
There you go.
Oh, sweetie.
You know, we hurt for our children.
Yeah. I know exactly where she's coming from in a lot of that.
And when you feel like your daughter has to beg a mother to be a part of her life, that's sad and it's hurtful. And I don't like to see her hurt, but it's hard for me to explain to her that she never has to worry about that from me, ever, ever. I will always be here. And one day her mother, we're going to keep positive, and one day her mother is going to be, maybe choose that right path where she doesn't have to beg, because she shouldn't have to beg.
No child should.
And it's hard that she's 17 now, you know what I mean? She sees what's going on. She sees it with her own eyes. She hears it with her own ears. And she has feelings too, you know? And
Yeah.
she feels like that she's not heard by her. She's only heard by her when she's wanting money. And it's sad that she's 17 and your biological mother is begging you for money because she can't afford to take care of herself.
Hun, can I give you a piece of advice?
Yeah.
Okay. I have siblings and a mother who are like that. Okay. Both my full blood brother, my full blood sister, and my birth mom. The only time they ever come to me is when and if they need money. I have had to block, like, come to the point of, or get to the point of protecting my own heart. Okay. Because if you don't, they will tear you down. Oh, sorry, wrong way. And you've got to get to the point in your life where you are there if they need you mentally, but you are not there for them to tear you down anymore.
Right.
I finally had to walk away from my birth mother because she had absolutely broke me. And I mean, tore me down, shredded me up, and spat me out, pooped on me, and ran away. And I would go back for more. There are just going to be, until she gets to the point where she has proven to you that she has improved herself enough to deserve to be in your life, you may need to close that door for a short time
Yeah.
to protect your own heart and your own mental well-being.
Yeah.
I had to close that door 6 years ago, and it kills me because my birth mother is in her late 70s. And I had to slam that door and lock it because she had chewed me up and spat me out so many times. And I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I nearly ended up in a mental breakdown from what she was doing to me.
Yeah.
And because being the little girl I was inside, just wanting my mommy, even at 50, I wanted my mommy.
Yeah.
I wanted my mommy to love me. That's all
Yeah.
you want.
That is.
The woman that you have your shoulder on is your mommy, hun.
Mm.
Your birth mother is your birth mother. And until she proves that she is worthy of the title of mom or mother, you need to protect that heart of yours.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I spent years chasing my mother's love. And to this day, I don't have it.
Mama Goose said, never give up. I tried my first illicit drug, illegal, or I don't know what that word is, but drug as
Illicit.
a grandma, illicit as a grandma, ended up with the FBI knocking at my door. Been clean 20 years now. My mom OD'd when I was in my 20s.
Oh,
Oh,
Lord, Mama Goose.
congratulations. And I'm sorry to hear your mother did that, that happened. Right
Yeah.
said,
I
and
never touched drugs or booze because of my parents. Because I knew that's what put me in care.
yeah, Right said, bio mom may still be active addiction. She is that
Yep.
we did find out. I've taken classes to deal with an addiction in my life. I've learned that you're talking with a drug, not really to the person, and the most of what they say
Yep.
is a lie. Yes, I
The
agree.
drugs will always lie. The drugs are going to lie to you time and again. And until she is away from it for many years and proven herself, protect that heart of yours, honey,
Mhm.
because
Do you
it can
want?
destroy you if you don't.
You think you can finish? Okay. She wants to. You don't have to. That's up to you. All right. She
You've got a
wants.
good heart, young lady.
She wants to finish reading it.
Where was I?
You feel like she was tearing your siblings.
Because you took my two only siblings that I can see away from me, and I feel like you don't want to have nothing to do with me, and I've been building this up for months. Now it's been almost a year since I've seen you or the kids, and I know you've been going through some things, and I just want you to be able to open your eyes and see what's actually going on here. I know you love sleep, but I honestly think you would be better with just you and the kids, because you don't have to have a man in your life to make your life complete. You need to focus more on the kids' education and making sure y'all have a place to stay, because it hurts to see that y'all have been living in hotels. Sleep is still going in and out of the hospital. I just want you to focus on her and you. I love you, I really do. I may act like I don't, but that's just me being a teenager. And yeah, I know I have a mom I live with, but you're the one that birthed me, and it hurts not knowing when you're gonna just walk back into my life, because I've spent so many years trying to figure out what is really going on here, because I feel like I'm nothing to you. I feel like I'm not worth it, or you don't see me as your kid anymore. We used to have the best relationship till you started picking men over me. I just really needed to get that off my chest because it's been building up for so long. I love you.
And she does have an issue, and me and Poop Noodle has talked about it. She has an issue where she has to have men in her life, and she starts to pick the men and the drugs over her children. But like I told her, it's the drug.
It's the
It
drugs, honey. It's not your mom.
Yes, but
The
she is
drugs take
very.
over. The,
I raised her, all my children, the same way, and she is a very smart young lady, and she is going to go very far in life with the head that she has on her shoulder. And as a mother, I cannot be more proud of her and more proud to call her my daughter, because I love her to death. She has brought a joy to my life and has made a dream come true for me to be that foster parent and to be able to give her that.
well, you've been very blessed, young lady, because you don't realize how lucky you are to have a woman love you like that. I would have given anything for it. You were blessed to
I'm
find
just
it and have her.
I'm just a titty baby. I just get sensitive. Stop it. I just get sensitive and I'm a titty baby. But
You love your kid.
she's
Nothing
been
wrong with
wa-
loving your daughter.
she's been wanting to do this for a very long time now, for about a year, and I thought, with Alberta and then Imwit, us all talking, I said this is the perfect timing, because I was just waiting for that perfect timing. Imwit said, Miranda, I know you have your own kids, but one of the things I wanted to address is when people tell you that that's not your kid. Oh yes, she knows
That
it.
is infuriating.
I'm the
Yep.
favorite.
You're the what?
Favorite.
What's your brother and sister say all the time?
That I'm the favorite and I'm spoiled rotten.
And it should be that way.
Yes, and when people do say that and they try to get me with that, and I've heard it like thrown in my face a many a times that I just brush it. I brush that off now. But you would have caught me about 5 years ago and you said that, Mama would have fought and went to jail, wouldn't she? And I ain't even got no criminal background at all, but I would have. So I
Can
just
I
appreciate
ask something?
you guys. Yeah.
When foster kids come into a home now, like today,
Hmm.
what do they usually come with? Do they usually come with a knapsack full of stuff, a suitcase, or like what I did with literally a garbage bag?
I had kids come into my home that literally had nothing but a diaper on. I've had
Oh,
kids come into
wow.
home to where they could only have a certain size bag and put what they want in it, and it had to be approved that they could bring it into another home, that they could travel with it. I've had kids come into my home that had favorite toys and had nice clothes and come like that. I'll tell you a story of one of my kids. There was a little boy that was placed in my home, and he came in with some shoes on, and what had happened was the law was called because he was only 2 years old, had no diaper, no nothing on, was butt naked, and only had on a pair of shoes. So they ended up putting a diaper on him, and he ended up coming into the home. Now, mind you, these shoes were
Oh,
probably 3 sizes too big, and he kept telling us that his toes were hurting in the shoe, and I when we would put them on, he would tell us hurt, hurt, hurt. So I was like, there's no way these shoes are hurting you because they're 2 sizes too big on you. And come to find out, you guys, no lie, took the shoe, pulled the tongue back, and there was a bag of weed that big where they had stuffed it in the child's shoe so that they wouldn't get caught with it. And it ended up coming to my house. That's why his little toes were hurting, because he was cramping his feet down into that. Emlet
how
said,
horrific.
yes. Oh, right here. This one was good too. God will reveal the journey you are supposed to be on, which may be the reason you're living through this. Maybe you be a drug. Maybe you be a drug someday. Unexpected may help put you on a path to help many others struggle. And then Imwit said, not to bring Bomb up, but that's why I took offense to people saying she's barren. I get that all the times it isn't one of the worst things you can tell a woman, and then people say adopted kids aren't yours. You're right, and I fully agree with this barren thing. um I fully disagree with it, and it's heartbreaking to hear anybody talk to like that, and I will not ever be a part of talk like that ever. It's cruel, it's nasty, and those words are very hurtful. Paddle said, Alberta, are you a foster? No, she was in
I am,
foster care.
yeah. And I'm physically, because of when I was thrown across the room at age 6, it destroyed my back. I am 95% of the time bedridden. I can only walk for very short periods. I'm usually in a wheelchair when I'm out of the house. Um, I'm lucky if I can walk one city block,
Mm,
and I'm in agony before I get halfway there.
yeah.
So to physically be able to take care of a foster child with some of the issues that they come with, even though I think I could help a bunch of them because I've been there, done that,
Yeah.
or I've seen it and done that type of thing. They won't allow it because of my health issues and because of my husband's health issues, because he's had open heart surgery and a few other things.
Yeah. Actually, they pulled my foster license when I became ill with lupus. Because I was very sick at the time. So the false they do that if you have a disability or if you end up falling ill. Mama Goose said, same with Southern Mutton, just wrong. You're right. It's wrong. People should not say things like that. It's very
I think my stepmom is forever my mom. Like the woman who married my birth father. I have called her mom for over 30 years, and she will forever be my mom in my eyes. She has loved me from day one, and she has always accepted me from day one. She tells me when I screw up. She tells me when I'm doing good. She doesn't bullshit. Sorry about that, but she doesn't beat around the bush.
Right.
And I love her for that.
Right. Imwit said, I fostered since May of 2013, and I fostered 50
wow.
kids. Yes.
Wow. That's a huge amount in that short a time.
I fostered from 2007 till 2001, and I fostered 27 myself. Yeah.
So what is the longest term? Can I ask something? What's the longest term as a foster parent that you guys have had a child?
My daughter, 4 months till she's 17 now.
Okay. I'm not talking about your daughter. She's your daughter. I'm talking a foster child that stayed as a foster child.
I had a therapeutic child, which is a child with a disability. That's what they call it in foster care. I had a therapeutic child for 2.5 years. She was in a wheelchair. She was a burn victim. What happened was, and she had to, okay, I'll tell you what happened, the story behind it. She was 7 and her brother, no, she was 7 and her brother was 10, and the mother was addicted. Yeah, you don't have a time limit in WIT. Yes, you don't. But the mother told the brother that she would buy him this Xbox game or something if he would go and throw this boiling hot water on her. And it burnt her from her head to her feet. And so she ended up in the hospital. Well, then she ended up with an infection, and it paralyzed her from the waist down. So she had to be fed through a feeding tube. And that's why she was a therapeutic child. But let me tell you something about this child. This child never took life for granted. She would get in her wheelchair and she would chase the other kids down in her wheelchair.
Good
she
for
would
her.
pop willies. She would feed her baby dolls as if the way we were feeding her. And it was awesome. And my kids always adapted. They just adapted. It was just, I knew I was doing the right thing of how well that my children just adapted.
She still loved life.
Yes. And she is 23 now. And she's living on her own. She graduated. She has to have assistance, but I mean, hey, she beat all odds. It's wonderful. She has a beautiful life, and she just makes the best of it out of it. And
Who would do that to their own child?
there's
Sorry, just the
some
thought of a
wild,
parent doing that infuriates me.
I have wild stories from children being placed in my homes. There's stories that they come with that has happened to them. Yep. So I wanted to play this clip here. Is there anything else you want to say?
Can you help?
Help you what? This?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say to the people?
Thank you for listening.
Oh, you're welcome. Everybody says you're welcome.
You're a strong young lady, girl.
Thank you for sharing your story
Strong young woman.
Oh, cool.
with us. She's eating, what is that?
Apples and caramel.
Apples and
Oh,
carrots.
yummy.
So what
Now
I'm going to do, now you want it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video to anybody that is interested in becoming a foster parent because they're needed. We don't have enough.
Yeah.
We do not have enough foster parents. And foster
Not
parents
nearly
get
enough.
overloaded because they're trying to put that one extra child in there so that that child has a bed to sleep in. So we're going to listen to this.
Creating content and educational videos and being a foster parent myself for almost 5 years. And I want to share with you everything that I know and have heard about getting licensed. There will be pain points. There will be waiting times. There's going to be mistakes. Balls are going to get dropped. But today, I'm going to walk you through the whole licensing process and tell you some tips and tricks along the way to get licensed.
Is that too fast for y'all? Y'all let me know if it's too fast. Put a 1 in the chat if it's too fast. Boss Bitch says, Baby Poop Noodle, sending hugs. You did amazing. Super proud of you, young lady. Just remember, blood don't make a family. Love, care, comfort does. Mommy Mirandy and Daddy Poop Noodle will always got you.
Poop Noodle's asleep.
Please give Baby Poop Noodle hugs from me. I will. Ugh. It's the one in the shit. Stop. Poop Noodle, you're a strong, loving young woman. God bless. But you can turn it up. All right, so we're gonna do this. Turn it up. I think I got it as loud as I can get it. I'll make sure. All right. Here we go.
Quickly and efficiently. I'm going to talk through the beginning, getting qualified, and all the different steps along the way. But go ahead and jump to the section that you're most concerned about or having problems with. It's listed below. Step 1, you need to make sure that you qualify. Every single state and county is going to have different qualifications. I have a link below where you can search your state, but generally speaking, you need to be 18 to 21 years old. You need to have room in your home and a safe home. You need to be able to support yourself financially, meaning you usually cannot be in any governmental assistance programs. You need to pass a background check, and you need to be fit to parent, meaning you're physically and mentally fit and well enough to parent. And I'm going to say it now, you need to be able to have time in your schedule to take care of all the responsibilities of being a foster parent. If already thinking about fitting the trainings into your schedule is stressing you out, it's probably not the right time. For example, it was around 40 hours of training that I had to take to get licensed to foster. Next, you can search for your local department.
Okay, where I'm at, we had to have 60 hours in. And it took me almost 2 years to become a foster parent because, like she said, your license, your name is run through every state for everything. I mean, they know you all the way down to the bottom of your toes of the DNA that you have in your body. They do that.
That has changed a lot then.
Family services.
Ma'am, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said that has changed a lot from when I was in care, and for the better.
Adam said, Mirandy, thank you very much for doing this live. You're very, very welcome. So look, I'm here. If you guys are interested in becoming a foster parent to help out, I'm here and I'm willing to help you do whatever you need and help you through the steps. So I'm going to continue this.
And see when they're having an introductory session. These are usually, a few times a month. They're virtual or in person. And this is where you go and get all the answers to your questions about what it is to be a foster parent, the current needs in your county, and what the steps are and requirements. This is a great time for you to bring your questions, your worries, your concerns. Write those down ahead of time so that you don't forget to ask them while you're there. And here's another tip. When you're there, make sure you get the name and contact information of the person leading this session. This is often the person who is in charge of the training or at least on the team. This is where we need to get to know all of the team members because we're going to need that later if there's any concerns. In some areas, there will be private agencies that can license you to foster. You may not know this exists. I did not know it existed when I started. I called my local department and they told me it was a year waiting before I could even start attending classes. There was such a backlog with that. Instead, I went into a private agency to get licensed and they were able to move much faster. So you can ask about this when you are collecting all that initial information. In some larger cities, there will be multiple agencies that you could get a license with. This is where you need to really think about your values and what you're going to need as a foster parent, and you can use that to choose an agency. I have a full list of all of these questions that you might want to ask, and I'll link it below so that you don't forget anything. After you've collected all this initial information, it's time to go back to your family in your home and your close family and friends to talk about being foster parents. Now, I remember some people in my training classes when I was going through it that decided not to tell family and friends. And they really struggled along the way because they didn't have people that could give them references. They didn't have anyone that could provide babysitting or overnight care. And it became this like awkward conversation later down the road. So, because of that, I really recommend speaking with your family and friends ahead of time. Yes, they may have concerns. Yes, they may have questions or worries, but this is a good time to get everyone on board because you cannot foster on an island. You're going to need support.
And I do suggest that you talk to your family. I brought my whole family together to talk about it because it is so important that your family is just involved in foster parenting and have that love as you do. Because remember, it's just like when you take stepchildren in. When you marry a woman or a man that has children, you're taking not only the husband or wife, but you're also taking the children in. And it's the same way. Always see it the same way to love and Christmas and birthdays and all that. So it's always shared the same with everybody. So that is very, very
I
important.
do remember.
Always treat them like your own kids, too.
After this, I'll let you tell it. Poop Noodle says she's got a little story to tell us. I don't know what it is. Like I said,
You
y'all.
told me it.
Oh, okay. Then she'll remind me.
Some situations, if you are seriously considering fostering, a worker will actually come to your home and do an individual interview and a quick home inspection. You do not need to have everything set up properly for this meeting, but this is a good chance to walk through the home and ask those questions about the fence around your pool, or the staircase that can't be gated, or the pass-through bedroom den space. All of those things are important to ask about because you may need to fix those things before you get licensed. And some of these home projects can be very expensive. For example, our pool fence was around $1,500 to install. I only mention that because if budget and finances are a consideration, it's important to know that early on so you can start planning and preparing for those expenses. The county usually does not pay for any of the setup costs in your home.
That is another thing. We had a pool and we ended up having to pay to put a fence around our pool. We also lived on a lake. Thank God the lake was so many feet away from our home that our home was able to be approved too. So they do look at things like that. Another thing that they also look at is when you go on vacation, normally normal people just get up and they go on vacation, right? Not in the foster system. You have to be approved to be able to take a foster child out on vacation. And it has to be signed and you have to have your paper with you. And it's very important. Also, this is another thing that she's fixing to talk about that is very important to me, that I think I should share is through your insurance, or if anybody your insurance, or if your foster your DHR or whatever provides you to do foster parent therapy. We were required 35 hours of therapy. Well, no, we had to do 20, but our insurance ended up giving us 35 hours worth of therapy before we went into foster parenting, which was a lifesaver. You learn so much and how to deal with things. And it's taught me a lot for myself. And it also is how I carry myself and how I approach things as well nowadays, is because of that therapy that we did have. Another thing, things that are listed like medicines, our medicines had to be locked up. You had to have a fire extinguisher for so many square feet of the house. You have to have bedding for each child. You also had to have rooms. So if you had a female child put into your home, they could share a room with another female child, and it could only be two to a room by your square footage. If you had a male put into your home, you had to have bunk, two beds, and you had to have they could share a room with a male. You could never mix the sex into being in rooms together. So that was very important as well.
And also, before you decide to be a foster parent, do the kids a favor. Make sure you have the ability in yourself and in your family to take and treat that child like a part of the family,
That's
not
right.
like you're going to spoil your kids and treat the foster kids completely and utterly different, because
And
it
that
tears those kids down.
Yes, and that never happened in my home, but I can
Oh, I
say
could tell.
that I did see it in other homes, and it would just really break my heart. So just make sure that's why I'm going through this. Make sure you're qualified and you're ready. And I
Yeah.
would think on it. I would give myself a good year to think on it before I ever took action on it. So we'll continue with this.
All right, and right at the beginning, you're going to start your first set of paperwork, which is usually what they call an application. So it's going to be a lot of general information about you, a couple pages. But here is where we're going to learn how to scan everything. From that very first document that you sign, take a picture and start to organize things digitally. I tell you this because there is a chance that this paperwork might get lost. And to be honest, this is going to set you up in the future as a foster parent, because lost paperwork is a pain point that will not stop. Now, every agency and department is going to direct you differently on how to complete things and when to do it. But if you've lived out of state in the last 10 years, I would highly recommend getting your live scan, which is a background check. Get that done quickly and as soon as possible, because the out of state background checks can take months. I've heard from some foster parents that it's taken more than a year to clear all of the out of state background checks. So I tell you this so you can get started early. There's also a lot of mistakes that can be made in this out of state paperwork. Sometimes it has to be typed, sometimes it has to be handwritten. And so start it now. So usually after the initial paperwork and the live scan, there's a little bit of a waiting period before the training begins, because they do sets of training. So a couple times a year or maybe twice a year, they'll do all the training for all the foster parents getting licensed. So if there's a little bit of waiting time at this time, I would start to get to know the other parents at the agency, attend the events, see if they'll let you attend a support group just as a comforting listening ear, and you can start to kind of plug into the community. This can be incredibly helpful to start building these relationships early. You can also watch documentaries, listen to podcasts, read books, so you can start to learn and get some background knowledge. I highly, highly, highly recommend reading books from former foster youth. I have a whole list I'll link below, but I wish that this was a part of my training, because there's so much to learn from people with lived experiences. And many former foster youth have written books, so please take the time and listen to them. All right, so the training is going to look different depending on where you are. In smaller areas, there may not be a lot of options for scheduling. In larger cities with bigger foster care populations, there might be multiple options for training. So this could be in person, evenings and weekends. It could be online. It could be a hybrid of all of that. It will be different depending on where you are. But if you're already having trouble getting this scheduled, I would take a quick pause and reflect. Do you actually have time in your schedule to be a foster parent? Because if you are struggling to schedule this, I would question if you have time. And also, is this agency the right fit? If they keep canceling trainings or they are not able to meet your needs and your schedule, you might want to take a pause and see if this agency is the right one for you. And here's something I wish someone had told me, and that's get all the extra training you can during this time, especially if you do not have any kids in your home. Now is the time to get everything you can. When I first got licensed, I took some of the extra training to become a therapeutic foster home. And that means that I have extra training to support kids with elevated behavioral and emotional needs. What I didn't do is I didn't take the medical foster care training classes, and I regret it. Now you may be thinking, well, I don't want to provide medical foster care, but the reality is a child may move in and develop a medical need while in your home, or may have a diagnosis that they didn't know about when the child entered care. And so having all of that background knowledge can save you a lot of time and energy, and you don't have to go and stop everything to get those classes in order to keep the child in your home. Ultimately, if you do not have the proper training and do not have time to get the proper training, they may move that child from your home. Now, in addition to the parenting courses and foster care courses, you're also going to get CPR, first aid, those types of trainings too, which are very important. And especially if you're planning to foster babies, make sure you're getting sufficient training for infants. Now, meanwhile, while you are
Now, all this that she said, I highly recommend. I do. Highly recommend. And Emwood, I'm watching you in chat. Um, I've had some children like that. I had a foster child put in my home, and she was a teenager, and she was pregnant, and she lost all control of herself and spit in my face and pushed me up against my house. Now, what can I do about that? Nothing. I just had to have her removed from the home. She was way bigger than me. She could have tackled me and took me down at any moment because I was like 110 pounds at that time. So,
That's
make sure you have the choice of what child and how old and the age limit that you want into your home. You have that choice.
taking the training, you will likely get a checklist of, 100 different papers that you need to fill out. It's not 100, but it feels like it at the time. So you need to go to your doctor and have them sign a form. You need to get a TB test. You might need to go get your car inspected or pull your DMV records. There are so many little checkpoints along the way. It can feel very overwhelming, but take it piece by piece, make that list for yourself, check things off, and scan those documents because these are the things that get lost easily. When you're going through your licensing, it's going to be several months, and there is turnover at these agencies and departments. And so this is where and how a lot of paperwork gets lost. If you have everything scanned and organized, and I save it to like a Google Drive, you can just share the link with the new person that comes in. Also, if you are currently in therapy or have recently been in therapy, there's a chance that the worker is going to be reaching out to your therapist. I mentioned this so you're ready and prepared so you can talk to your therapist about how those conversations will go. Additionally, you likely will need references. And so this is typically a non-family member that will fill out a form and share why they think you should be a foster parent. It's important that you let that person know to check their mail or email, however it's going to come, so they can be aware of it. You wouldn't want this to hold you back. And, sometimes these letters are not marked properly and maybe don't get opened quickly. So let your friends know that those letters are going to come. All right. So towards the end of the process, you're going to have a home inspection. Sometimes that is a worker that comes over with a checklist, and I'm going to show you mine. So I went ahead and printed what mine looks like. This is it, guys. I show you this for full transparency, but it is several pages of items that you need to do to your home, and they literally go through one by one. Now, you can get the list ahead of time, so you're prepared. It's no big deal. Get that list, ask all your questions, but just know if you do not pass the first time, it is pretty common. A lot of people do not pass on the first inspection. Sometimes someone from the fire department will come through your home as well, and so being up to date on all the fire codes is really important. Ask the questions just so it can save you time, because scheduling those inspections out can take weeks. So they typically arrive at your home, and it can take, anywhere from an hour to a couple hours. For us, we actually noticed a problem during the inspection, and Chris was able to run to the grocery store. We needed a second first aid kit in a different location. He grabbed one and came back so that we had everything we needed for our inspection. And then at the very end, there is a long interview called a home study. This will happen differently depending on where you are. Sometimes it is one time you sit down with a worker and it's an interview. Sometimes it happens over multiple meetings. And just know that every time you interact with a worker throughout the whole process, they are taking notes. They are reflecting on what questions you're asking. Are you engaged? Do they feel confident that you can do this? And all of that feeds into your licensing, your approval, and that home study. Now, the home study worker likely will come over and speak to the whole family together. And then usually we'll separate and have individual conversations. There are tons of resources online that will tell you almost all of the questions that will be asked. Now, you don't need to prepare an answer. It needs to be candid, and the worker is looking for this. They're going to make sure that it's an authentic response, not a prepared response. But sometimes it can help to look up those questions ahead of time so that you can chat with your partner and have these really important conversations. For example, how are we going to handle things when we get angry? Discipline in the home. What about if we ourselves are triggered by something from our own past? How are we going to handle that? So by looking at those questions ahead of time, it can be really helpful for that home study interview. Okay, so
And I also recommend that if you have a husband or wife, that you guys are on the same level. If he or she doesn't want to do it, then it's not meant to be done, because it can't just be one person. If there's two of y'all, it takes a team.
Yeah,
If you're single and
definitely.
you do it, you can be single and be a foster mom, if you're or foster dad. If you're single and you're doing it, just know that it's going to be challenging. But if it's something that you really want to do, you can do it. You can do it. And make sure you have a good support system, as in family and friends.
But when you have reached this point and you are done with the home study interview, there's a little bit of time. They got to type it all up, and then there's usually a waiting period and some time in between home study interview and your actual license. Here are some things you can do during this time. So you can get out of town, because when kids move in, that's going to be hard to do. You're going to spend time with your partner, see your family, relax, get some sleep, spend some time on your work and personal commitments. Get all of that buttoned up in your own personal life. Another thing that might be surprising is you might start getting phone calls for kids, especially if you are in a really busy city and you are open to taking in older kids. You might hear from some workers about potential kids that could move in. In these cases, they might speed up this waiting period so that a child is not waiting and can move in with you. In every state across this country, there are kids right now living and sleeping in conference rooms, hotel rooms, sometimes even prisons, waiting for a home. And so if the workers feel
Wow.
that you are ready to go,
It's true, Alberta. It's true. That's why I always had my home open and ready. I mean, like I said, that there was times that I would have 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, someone knock on my door and say, "Hey, can we place a child here until we can find a home for them?" And my door was always, always open for. I'd take them all if I could have, but I couldn't. But my door, they knew my door was always open.
oh, your home is
Yeah,
all
that
set and you would be a good fit, they may start the placement process.
Sorry, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say it's similar to up here. It was the orphanage.
Yeah,
They didn't have the old jails open. They would actually have these big institutions where there'd be 30, 40 plus kids.
yeah.
I have a question.
What's your question?
How was living in an orphanage like?
Well, I can tell you one funny story about it, because we lived there for quite a while, and every Saturday morning was called strip day because we all had to strip our beds and get the sheets washed. Well, my brother decided to take every Saturday morning as a literal, strip down butt naked and run up and down the halls yelling, "Strip day, strip day."
That's
I still tease
cute.
him about that.
I would say an orphan, the difference between an orphan and a foster home is an orphan is more of rooms where a bunch of kids share beds and bunk beds and all that, and they're all in this big house. And then you
Yeah,
have
it's,
caretakers that take
yeah,
care of you over time.
yeah.
That's the
It,
difference between an orphan than if you're a foster child and you go into a regular home, you
have
either
you
get
ever
a room to share with somebody or you get your own room, and it's more
have you
personal level. Go ahead.
have you ever seen a facility where seniors are?
Yes, she has.
It's
Like,
similar to that, but with children. You get anywhere from 2 to 5 children in a room with like 1 or 2 adults per hallway type of thing.
Yeah.
So
Remember
there's
when
no
we
personal one-on-one.
Pawpaws?
Like there's none of that.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a nursing home, but it's just children instead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
This early. The reason I tell you is so that you can be prepared and you can start thinking about what are the parameters of the kids that you will accept into your home. Think about the basics like age, gender, and general things about the case that you would be comfortable with. Because if those calls start coming in, you do want to be ready. I know that was a ton, but no matter where you are in the process, here are 4 things that you need to keep in mind during the entire time. Number 1, make sure everything you fill out, you get a scanned copy for. Save it on your computer. Number 2, get to know who the trainers are, their supervisors, their assistants. You need to know who everyone is, especially as people come in and out of the positions. And if there's any problems, you know who to contact. Number 3, just know that you are being watched. And this is also just being a foster parent. You need to be present and active and asking good questions and being involved in all the trainings because you are being assessed. And number 4, things will happen. So we do need to be patient. Everyone is overworked, and this includes people who are licensing. Like I said at the beginning, there is such a backlog in my county that I had to go a different direction. So just know that everyone is doing their best. Things happen. We are all human, so some patience and grace will go a long way and will help you set up to be a foster parent because patience and grace is important in fostering as well. So are you getting licensed right now? I would love to hear from you. How is it going? If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to help you.
And that is that. So tell
I'm
us.
glad to see there's some changes.
I have
Yeah.
2 stories.
Okay, tell us. I'm excited.
Okay, so I have a funny story on how I became to walk.
Tell
You
us.
remember?
Yeah.
So my sister and brother, not my
Half sister and brother from your biological mother,
from
but your sister and brother from mom.
yeah.
Me.
Yeah. They taught me how to walk. And you want to know what they taught me how to walk with? Cheese balls.
They would take the cheese balls and because she loved them to death, and they would drop them and she would walk and get it, and then they'd drop another one and she'd walk and get it, and drop another one and she'd walk and get it.
Hey, it worked.
It
What?
worked. They taught her how to walk for sure.
And now I love cheese balls.
Story.
I remember you telling me this because we were all laying in the bed one night and we were talking about when my brother and sister came home from school and I had just got placed in the home and I was in the playpen with they were coming home from school and I was in the living room in a playpen and they were very happy that I was placed.
See, she was placed in our home and all the kids were at school and she was 4 months home. So we run home and gave her a bath and put her on her new clothes and all that. And Dad had just fed her and had laid her down in the playpen. And when they come in, they were like, "Who is that?" And we're like, "Your new brother and sister. They're here. She's here. Do we get to keep her forever? Is she ours forever?" I said, "No, just for a little while. But we love her." And they couldn't help but to hold her. They wanted to hold her and love her and pinch her and tickle her and everything else.
Maybe they knew something you didn't.
Right? Religion also affects foster. If you're a Christian and the bio family isn't, you may have to find somewhere from the child to go during church. Yes, you do. You do have to do a lot of accommodating for them.
That's changed a lot then.
It's part of it until, thank God, all of the children that were ever with us, they just picked right up with our family and did what our family did. They went to church with us. They went to Sunday school with us. They did everything. They picked up on the same foods that we ate. It was just awesome. I'm back. Had to clean the cat box and kitchen. Needed a break. J Bobs,
I
thank
still
you.
have to have my chicken nuggets and French fries.
She still has to have her chicken nuggets and French fries. Well, Alberta, I appreciate you so much for coming up. I really, really enjoyed it. And Emwit, I'm so sorry that you couldn't get your device to work. Maybe next time.
Yeah, I hope next time.
And
It was nice meeting you.
it was so nice to meet you,
Poop
everybody.
Noodle.
Baby poop noodle. And I want to say thank you to everybody in chat for being here. And
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, and thank you to all my mods for making the chat just run smooth and as a baby's butt, like you always do. And I want to say today, make it a good day. If you're having a bad day, just try to make it a good day. Go somewhere uplifting, listen to some uplifting music. And remember, be kind and humble to everybody because you never know what somebody's going through. You're opening the door,
Or have been through.
or been through. Your yes, ma'am, your no, ma'am can go a long ways. And remember, if you're going to be on these YouTube streets, Legs, I am so happy to see you. So happy.
Legs.
I'm so sorry that you got blocked. It was truly an accident. Truly. Please forgive us. We really missed you. You were so missed. You just don't know. You really were missed. And if you're going to be on these YouTube streets, Alberta, what do I always say?
I can't think at the moment.
Put your helmets on.
Wear them helmets.
Oh, yeah.
Slippery slope
You
out there.
definitely need helmets out in these streets.
Yes, you do. Actually, you
Knee
need
pads and
full
elbow
body
pads as
armor.
well.
Full body armor.
The armor of God's the best.
And I thank y'all. All fancy. You all have a great day and see you all in the next live. Goodbye, everyone. Bye, Mirandy and Baby Poop Noodle and Alberta. See y'all around these YouTube streets. Yes.
God bless
Y'all
everyone.
be good. God bless, and I love you. Get outside and lay out for 30 minutes. It'll help
you,
you.
Mirandy.
Thank you, Alberta, so much for being here.